Well, hey, you better than amazing people. Hope you guys are all having a blessed day. We're on day 11 of the 100 Days of Greatness. Beautiful, beautiful run. Compound effect is real, let me tell you. But I want to talk about something with you. I want to talk about relationships. This is part of one of the verticals that I'm bringing into the space. Lots out there. But, I've observed something over the years that people tend to go with what's familiar, what's easy, what's comfortable. Let me ask you a question. Where in your life have you excelled with greatness? Through comfort, through familiar, through easy? I'm going to say almost nowhere. It's the challenges in life that challenge us to become better people, that challenge us to grow. And there's something, people, when they're looking for a relationship, this is just my opinion, but also from watching many other people, for being single for 4.5 years. When people are looking for a relationship, they look at security, they look at finance, they look at looks and attraction, they look at all these superficial things in the beginning. And then they get into a relationship and life hits them. And maybe they're with somebody that's too busy. Maybe somebody that's got a wicked career going and their career is a number one thing. They're always dealing with clients. Maybe they're always away working. Maybe they're traveling, whatever that may be. Maybe you've gone with somebody and after a while, that spark fades a little bit, where you're not having that excitement that you had in the beginning. Do you want to know why that happens? Because people fail to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I truly believe that the next time I'm in a relationship, the next relationship that I'm in, I'm entering that relationship with a plan. That plan is going to have structure to it. Why not every week we sit down and let's talk about the relationship? Why don't I get some hard questions like, hey, how did I show up last week as your partner? What could I have done better as your partner last week? What blind spots did you see that I may not see last week that I can improve on? Whew. Man, those are some hard questions for me, right? Why? Because it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to give me data that's going to result in one of two things: either stay the same and become complacent, or change. Now imagine if you showed up every week with your partner, you sat down with a piece of paper and answered those 3 questions. Imagine if you planned out a week of dates and how that was going to go. Maybe every 2 weeks you have a surprise date where you don't have the other person involved in planning. You just come up with something to surprise them, right? Maybe you set aside 30 minutes every day at the end of every day where you get together and you talk about your day and you get to explore and express yourself for how the day is going and how you felt. Maybe you sit down once a week and you vision and explore goals that you could have. What would that do in our relationships if we showed up with more intention, if we showed up with more planning, with more structure, with more communication? Just imagine where that could take people and what that could do for them, right? But it takes intention, fam. It's like running a business. If you want to be successful in life over the long term, you got to have a plan. And you got to sit down and you got to talk and you got to go over what's working, what's not working. It's got to be a safe place. You can't take things personal. Everybody gets off track, but everybody has the ability to get back on track, right? I was having a conversation with a gentleman tonight, and he said, it was a slow road going downhill. He says, now I'm looking up and there's a whole heap that I have to climb. And I said, no. I said, it's the same speed going up as it is coming down. It doesn't matter, fam. If you take 2 steps off the track, you got to take 2 steps to get back on the track. The goal is to catch yourself when you're only 2 steps off the track and not 30, because 30 steps through deep snow is hard, right? I see it so much where relationships are becoming complacent, where they're just in the groove, they're just hanging out together, but they're not really living life. They're not really exploring with intimacy. They're not really exploring with romance. They're not really exploring with excitement where they're actually doing things. Maybe you go learn a new skill together. Maybe you go dance together. Maybe you go do some art together, right? Maybe you go do yoga or the gym or whatever that is. But do it together. Give yourself something, a common goal together, a vision together that you can create. But every week, come together and sit down with a pen and paper and ask those 3 questions. Hey, how did I show up last week as your partner? Hey, what could I do better as your partner? Hey, what blind spots do you see that I may not see as your partner? I'm telling you, you ask those 3 questions every week, you write those down with your partner, you're going to create a bond so strong. Because what happens in that moment is you start to turn the table, and instead of having somebody across from it, now the problem's across from it, but you and your partner are on the same side. You attack the problem, not the person. There was a great saying once by a smart man, Albert Einstein, said, we can't change the situation with the same thought process that created it. And that's so true. But in order to change it, we need critical feedback. Sometimes it's going to hurt. Sometimes it's going to push us and push some buttons. But that's where we need to step back for a second and say, hey, I did this. I got here. But guess what? I can get out of here too. I can take a couple steps back in the right direction. We can get back on track. Now, the other person, well, on the other side, there has to be grace. There has to be forgiveness. There has to be trust that that person is going to do what they say and say what they do. Say what they do and do what they say. But just imagine, fam, just imagine what your relationships could be like if you did that. So I hope this adds some value to you, and I hope my goal is to get you to think just a little bit different, just to pique a little bit of curiosity into the way that you think. Maybe step back for a second and say, hey, what could I do different? What could I do better? And how can I become better in this life? I think that if we all started pointing the finger more in the mirror, we would learn a lot. And the last thing, fam, is this. No matter how bad it is right now, you've survived 100% of your bad days, your worst days, and you're still here. And so I want you to just take a little glimpse of hope, because you couldn't have got here without some of that. And you still have some left in the tank. So never give up. Keep pushing. Do one more. Execute, execute, execute. And no matter what, fam, always realize one thing, that change is inevitable. It's which direction the change is going to happen. If it's for the better, it's going to have to be intentional. If it's for the worst, it's going to have complacency. And you get to decide what that is. Have an amazing and blessed night, fam. Have a better and amazing day. I know you guys are rocking it out there. You're just killing it. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We got some good things coming. We're meeting with the product design here on Monday and getting our first prototype put together. So I'm super fired up for that. We'll see you guys on the next one. Ciao.